laptop to charge.
Hi, Glenn. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am really, really excited about this conversation. I've been thinking about us coming together and talking about some of the things that you have been doing, and looking back at the times that I have, I guess, been introduced to some of your products, some of the things that you have been working on, even in the cosmetology space. I think I look back and I am enamored by the willingness and the tenacity and the energy that you bring when you're like, in your creative space and in your creative element. I feel like I should probably give everybody a little bit of background, that I met you in a hair salon. Um,
Yes.
I was getting my hair done. We were kind of just talking about the things that you have going on. And I
Mhm.
think I definitely wanted to talk with you because I think it's so encouraging and inspiring at your age to be pursuing so many things. And I know that in life, a lot of us kind of get stuck and don't move forward.
Yeah.
So to see you at such a young age moving forward, um, is really exciting. And so I'm so happy that you have agreed to be a part of this podcast.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. I'm very excited that you saw all those wonderful qualities in me. And you were elated to have me to share my story on your podcast. So I'm really excited for all of this whole conversation. Um, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name's Glenn. I'm 22 years old. I was born in the amazing island of St. Lucia. I was raised in the States. I am an only child to my mom, the youngest girl to my dad. I did my schooling here at Kane University, and I studied psychology and criminal justice with the plan of going to law school, which is still in the works. Um, but through my journey of finding my way to college, when I was in high school, I went to a tech school, which is where I discovered cosmetology. I never knew something like that even existed. But I discovered cosmetology, and I decided that that was the shop that I wanted to be a part of. And so initially, I wanted to do nails. I wanted to be a nail technician. But through experience, I kind of found that that wasn't my thing. And so I moved into the skincare field, and then I stuck with that. But after I graduated high school, I was given the opportunity to work in a hair salon. And so that's how my love for hair and my cosmetology interest increased. So I worked at that natural hair salon for about 4.5 years. Um, and I found my niche in the cosmetology field, which is pretty much just natural self-care, natural hair care, anything care is what I prefer and what I like. Um, and through me finding that niche, I was able to create a brand, a self-care line, all natural, organic. It's called Nude Beauty. And it's a self-care line that basically has your everyday essentials, but it's a natural alternative. And we have a variety of products, candles, anything that you could possibly think of that is an essential for your everyday living is what we try to provide. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much me.
So how has this journey been? Because I'm thinking, you were in college and you were studying like criminal justice, you said?
Yes.
And so like you're on the track to, and still on the track to pursue law.
Mm-hmm.
But you find yourself with this other passion and simultaneously studying and working. doing cosmetology, how did the whole self-care experience evolve for you? Because I know one of the things you were talking about was how important it is to practice self-care.
Yes. So self-care really came about for me when I got to college. I was always the type of child to take on a lot and to do a lot, but never really be careful in the way that I took on a lot of load. So,
Mhm.
you would get overwhelmed, you would get frustrated, stressed, etc. And so when I got to college, literally the same thing started happening to me. I was offered a job at the salon, so I worked there on my days off from school. And so I never really had time for myself. And how I really discovered self-care was just being frustrated at the fact that my hair wasn't really healthy, my skin wasn't at its best, and I didn't feel my best. So I had to take a step back from everything that I was doing and figure out, okay, how can I better myself so I can put the energy that's necessary into what I'm doing. And so I got into this toxic relationship, and being in that relationship made me realize how much I needed to find the simple things in life that made me happy and that really just spoke to who I was created to be. And so it just so happened that cosmetology was my thing. So I went after hair care, washing my hair with simple products, moisturizing my face with simple products. What I inhaled, I'm a big candle fan. So
Mhm.
I just love everything about candles. And so what kind of candles I was purchasing, what kind of wax was in it, I literally went down to the simple things that made me feel most like myself. And I just found that to be my connection within cosmetology and natural self-care, everything. As long as I know what's in the product, that's what worked for me. And once I noticed that, I started creating a brand out of it. I started telling people about it. People said that it worked. And so I was like, okay, this could really be something. And that's pretty much how it happened.
I think that is so interesting because we are so busy now. We are so
Yeah.
busy. We are so
Yeah.
stressed. Like anxiety is on this high, all time high, and
Hmm.
no one really, like, people are finding it difficult to just stop. You know,
Yes.
stop and just go back to the simple things. And I was listening to this YouTube thing this morning. It's like how you start your morning. And it was talking about how we're so busy, like running and doing stuff that we never take time just to pause,
Right.
right? Just to pause and relax. So I think it's so it's so awesome that you were able to realize, like, wait a minute, I gotta slow down. Like
Hmm.
I gotta take a couple of steps back and just really reconnect with who I am, you know?
Right.
That's so cool. So
Yeah.
let me ask you, what did your parents how do your parents feel about you, like, doing so much, and like, because like law is over here and cosmetology is over here. What was that conversation like?
My mom, my mother said, when are you gonna stop? Because I just don't understand, how are you studying for law school and then creating a brand? Both requires most of your time. So how do you do it? And I would make excuses like, don't worry, I got it. I will figure it out. And then turn around and say, Lord, I really don't know what I'm doing. I need you to pull through for me. Um, but really, my mom is my biggest supporter with everything, in everything. She's my momager is what I like to call her, because she just does it all. If I'm doing it all, she's doing it all. And so she's pro anything that I do as long as I love it. So when I came up with the brand and I sat her down and I was explaining it to her, she said, I'm for it. Wherever you need my help, I got you. Um, as far as law, she helped me look at a couple colleges. We bought some LSAT books and whatever I needed for preparation, whether it was with nude beauty or whether it was with law school, she was there. My dad just thinks I'm the smartest person on the whole planet and I can do anything I put my mind to. So he's like pro Glenn all the time. Whatever you want to do, I'm here. So I have a pretty good support system. So they are actually the reason why I feel like I'm superwoman.
Right.
So yeah.
That's pretty cool. So would you say that your passion is now meeting a purpose? Because I think that people think that it's not possible to enjoy what you do, right? It may not necessarily be the 9 to 5 that you're working, but
Hmm.
there sometimes I think people think that if it's not the 9 to 5, if it's not what I'm going to school for right now, that it could be that I'm not meant to really enjoy what I'm doing. Like everything has to be about money, or it has to be about like the way society um, views success. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
I literally run away from everything that society says because I am a really I'm a big believer in exactly what you said, my purpose. Um every morning I wake up, it's a constant reminder. I just want to hear job well done, job well done. You good and well, my good servant. Like I need God to be most satisfied, most happy, everything. It's just what I'm doing in this life is mainly for him. What did you put me here for?
Mhm.
So oftentimes I try to stray away from what society says to be success, what society I like to say it's really perverted because a lot of the ideas are not what they are supposed to be.
Mhm.
And so it hinders a lot of people in my generation because, like you said, money is the constant goal. And as I've gotten older, I realized that money cannot buy you half of the things that you need to be a sufficient individual.
Mhm.
And so I struggle with being a big part of society for that main reason. I'm not really pro anything society says just because I feel like it's always perverted and taken into a whole different context.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't say I'm religious, but I am very into my faith. My pastor is like one of my best friends. And so I have um just the word all around me. So I'm constantly reminded of what the Lord requires from me and not what the world requires from me. So
Mhm.
it's a constant battle between being a part of my community, social media and stuff like that, and remembering my purpose and what I'm really here for. I can't say that I know exactly why I was put on this planet and all that amazing stuff that one day I will eventually know, but I definitely do feel like I am getting closer to understanding my purpose because I am not sinking into the mentality of society.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
That's so important. I think it's so challenging. I mean, it's challenging with social media and comparisons, and um, feeling like you have to prove something, or you have to
Hmm.
be at a certain level, as opposed to just the reality of what walking out your journey really looks like.
Right.
No. So, what type of challenges have you encountered? Because I know a lot of times we talk about, oh, pursue your passion, like go after this. And
Yeah.
I think people think, I even myself thought, I'm just going to do this, and this is going to be exactly everything that I have imagined it would be. And
Yes.
that's not always the case.
Not always the case at all. I literally say the life of an entrepreneur. One day you're at your highest peak, the next day you're at the lowest peak. And it's really been like that for me for the past 2 years, probably 3 years, really trying to build a brand. And the hardest part for me is being consistent, especially when I was in school. I was devoted to school. My mother's paying for it. Somebody's helping me. I can't just come to school and not give it my all.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in school, that was my biggest challenge. School was my main focus, but I still wanted to put a lot into my brand, but I couldn't do that. Now, after I graduated, my biggest challenge with entrepreneurship was time management, lack of support.
Mm.
Money was also an issue because, broke college student, just graduated from college. How are you gonna have a pop-up shop for this company, local business, small business that you want to have? And I have very expensive taste. So I like to give a full experience with everything that I do because I believe life is about living. It's about experiencing everything to its full extreme. So when I do things, I like to just give you pretty much everything that I have. So money was a really big issue for me because I wasn't always able to meet budgets. Like I would always go over them. So that was a big struggle. And like I said, with the lack of support, honestly, that's still a struggle now because people say they support you, and then when it's time for them to support you, they don't. And when you're growing a company, you need people to support you. You need people to say, okay, yeah, I buy this and this is great. And then tell the next person about it. You should buy it too, and tell the next person about it. And, word of mouth and how all of that goes. And so that's been one of my biggest struggles now. And honestly, I think another struggle for me is just being content with where I'm at and understanding that I'm still in the beginning phase of growing a business and not looking at somebody else and trying to compare myself to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's so many natural skincare lines, hair care lines. Everybody is just natural now. And so I feel like it's a lot of competition, even though it shouldn't be, but it's just, it's so much competition because everybody's doing the same thing that you have to work extra hard to make yourself stand out as a company. Why should I buy your product instead of buying something at Sephora? Mm-hmm. Sephora is more well-known than you. What makes you so important? Mm-hmm. So that has also been a big challenge for me as an individual trying to build a company. But that's just a few.
I think it's so important why it's so important to be in a network and surround yourself by people who are in similar spaces, mm-hmm. and who are like-minded, because those challenges are so real because they impact like your motivation,
yes,
your ability to show up, and be consistent. And so what I found is that it's just been really important to develop a tribe, or at least a community of people who are on the same page or ahead of me.
Right,
because
right.
What I found is that these same feelings that you're having are the same feelings that I've had and continue to have. The successful people are the people who are at the mark at which maybe we're aiming for, have had those same challenges.
Yes, absolutely.
And it has allowed them to continuously, they've been able to overcome that. And I think that a lot of entrepreneurs and like people who are doing side hustles, I think they don't anticipate how impactful that is.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. And I think as far as like the comparison part, I think that is probably one of our biggest challenges with social media.
Mm-hmm.
to stay, like, you got to be on the grid or on the gram, but like you can't be on it so much that you're now all involved in what everyone else is doing. And I just know for me, what I've had to do sometimes is just take like steps back and just be like, all right, why am I doing this? Like, why have you called me to this space?
Right.
And be concerned about what I'm supposed to be doing,
Right.
not what everybody else is, because it's crazy.
I always say, worry about yours. Stop minding
Yes.
somebody else. Just worry about yours. And so I actually found myself looking to people that I would compare myself to as inspiration rather than me comparing myself and then putting us on a scale. Like, okay, this company is at 10 and I'm at 6. So now I look at them as inspiration. Okay, what in their caption do you like? Make it different. Don't, make it better. Don't try to mimic exactly what they're doing, or don't try to say, oh my God, I'm not there yet, I suck. Because when you're running a small business, you also have to deal with yourself. It's not a business. Like you don't leave the business. You are still the person who runs the business. So it's also a lot to deal with mentally, because like you said, you're either on the gram minding people business or on the gram just, comparing yourself, doing whatever the case may be. And it gets overwhelming. I even find myself giving a time slot. Like, you're only going to be on Instagram for this amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're on Instagram for this amount of time, post something, do something else, and do something else that's going to make you money. Don't just be on there just minding people business, or doing things that's not beneficial. And even if it doesn't make you money, but it still gets you a step further. So do things with intent. And that's how I try to move now. If I'm on Instagram, I'm going to post something. I'm going to comment on somebody's picture. Oh, this is beautiful. I'm going to look for opportunities to be a vendor at something that's going to work in my favor. Mm-hmm. And it's been working. So I think if you change the purpose of what you're trying to do, then you do it differently and you get better results.
Definitely being intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Having intentionality with the things that you do, and like covering it and soaking it in purpose while you're still moving. I think it just changes the game, and it really allows you to be able to celebrate where people are,
right,
and celebrate where you are. One of the things that I learned too is celebrating the small milestones, because sometimes, like, you had a launch.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Some people didn't even get to like the launch. You have the website, you have the product, you have the containers and the packaging. That all that stuff. People don't realize how much work it takes just to even get to that space.
Right.
And so I think you have to congratulate yourself on every milestone that you make.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I used to forget to do that because it came so natural to me that I was in a space where people would ask me, oh my God, you did this? And I'd be like, yes, I did. What? I don't understand what's the big deal. Help me figure it out. But then my mom used to tell me all the time, it's not. So you just have to be mindful of pretty much how you operate.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So, yeah. Definitely. So we talked about some of the challenges, but what has been like, what are the ups? What is the things that you're like, yes, I'm glad I did this?
I'm a big result person. In every area of life, I like to see results. Progress is my favorite word. Just being able to know that somebody's moving forward and getting better. I really love before and after pictures, knowing that my product works, knowing that it's targeting the problem that you had prior to using it. That's like the most joyful part of the whole thing for me. The ups, it's just like being able to check stuff off of my to-do list, contact this person, send this email out, order this, order that. That's the best part of it for me most of the time too, knowing that I'm able to get things done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and having opportunities just like this one to speak about the brand, knowing that people see me, knowing that people are in awe of me, and just being able, like I said before, to move forward. I wasn't in this space a year ago, let
Mm-hmm.
alone 2 years ago. So my favorite part is really having something that I'm growing with. It's like literally my baby.
Yes.
Like we're growing together, and it's teaching me a lot about myself. It's showing me a lot about myself, also places that need some more work. So it's a really great experience because I have to interact so much with the world, but still be able to control how much I interact with the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably one of the best parts for me.
Well, tell us more about the products.
Okay, so my favorite product and the first one that I created for Nude Beauty is the potion. And I really don't know how I came up with the name. I think I literally just woke up one day and said, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna name it the potion," because it's like a potion is a hair growth stimulator. It is very lightweight. It smells absolutely amazing. The ingredients include coconut oil, which is derived straight from St. Lucia. My aunt makes the coconut oil and she gives it to me. And so it's like straight from St. Lucia is the most amazing thing about it. It has castor oil, olive oil, tea tree oil, and peppermint oil. The potion is more for individuals who have dry, flaky scalp. Um, Usually I recommend it if you're doing a lot of protective styling,
Mm-hmm.
and it is basically so light that you can use it every day, which is pretty much what I do. And the shine that it gives your scalp, the softness that it gives your hair is absolutely phenomenal. That's my favorite product from the entire line. We also have a whipped body butter, which I created because I struggle with eczema. It's the most annoying thing ever. And so I was never really able to find products that were fragrance free
Mm-hmm.
because fragrance irritates eczema and stuff like that. So I did a whole bunch of research trying to figure out what was not super heavy, but could really just get my eczema to be under control. Definitely control the itchiness, the dryness, and everything like that. And then we have a face wash that I created from my aggravation with breakouts. So I'm more on the oily skin spectrum, and hormonal imbalances causes your face to break out and all of that craziness. I created that face wash pretty much based off of my skin type, but it's safe to use for anybody that has similar issues as mine. And on the site has everything listed as far as whatever you're trying to target, what you're trying to fix, and I recommend pretty much what product I would say is the best for you. And then my favorite collection, I would say right now, are the candles. They smell absolutely amazing. There's no word to really express how good they smell. But they're so refreshing. It's 2 scents. They're polar opposites. One is more fruity. It has grapefruit, it has lemongrass, and orange, I believe. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's more fruity. It's more of a scent that you would burn in the morning to kind of give you a quick booster. And then the other one, that the citrusy one is called Brand New, and the other one is called Free Spirit. That has more of it has frankincense in it. It has, what's the other one? Frankincense. I think it has lavender. I'm not even too sure. But it's more of a calming scent. So I like to burn it in the night after I've had a really
Long day.
long day. Yes. Burn the frankincense, burn away all the struggles from the day, every hardship that you had, and it really puts you in a good space where you can peacefully fall asleep. So that's pretty much all my products. We actually have a spring collection coming out in March with a couple
Exciting.
new products. Yeah, that's nude beauty.
So you have been busy.
Very busy. Yeah.
So tell everyone, or let us all know how we can reach you, how they can order your products.
Okay, so you can order the products on our site. It's shop nude, NUD, beauty.com. Everything is pretty much up there. Descriptions, ingredients are listed. How to use the product is also up there. We have an Instagram, which is also shop nude, NUD, beauty. We have a Facebook, same name. And also, I am a natural hairstylist. I specialize in natural hair care. So I'm taking new clients, anybody that's interested in taking care of their natural hair. I do a little bit of everything except for braids and relaxers. Um, and my Instagram for my hair page it's really long. It's my last name, Degonzague, DEGONZAGUE Studio, and you can book me on Instagram. It's a link that allows you to book. All the services that I provide are up there, full description, everything that you need to know, you have complete access to via Instagram. And that's pretty much my life.
I will definitely have this information. I'll have links to this in the show notes so
Amazing.
people
Okay.
can reach out to you and contact you.
Okay.
So I just have before we go, I just have two more things. Um, I think it's important I think when a lot of people are looking to step out in things that they're passionate about, they just don't know where to begin,
Mm-hmm.
right? You've created your website, you have booking online, you have products that you've put together. What was like your resource pool from like, how did you even start like figuring out like business acumen, like how you pulled everything together?
I definitely did a lot of research. And what I actually found to be a big problem in the beginning for me was not knowing what anything was called. So Google is amazing. You
Google
type in
University.
Google University. You type in anything in Google and it narrows down the search for you and it gives you exactly what you're looking for. So when I started Nude Beauty, I really just I looked to myself for a lot of the things that I feel like um, were a part of me, but still a part of other people, if that makes sense. And with the brand, I figured nude would be the perfect word simply because everybody has their form of nude. So that really resonated with me simply because it was just relatable for every individual.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's not that simple for, somebody looking to create a brand, you really just have to find what works for you. And I tell people that all the time. You have to stick with what works for you because Nobody else can do what works for you like you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that portion of the brand was really a lot of self-reflection on myself. When I was making products and stuff like that, I always just looked at what issues that I wanted to fix and what could help me fix them. I have tons of books at home geared to essential oils, geared to natural stuff. And I read them, I took notes. YouTube, you can't believe everything that's on YouTube, but you watch like 50,000 videos and then you make your own formulation and you come to your own conclusions based on that. And even through watching videos, you will learn certain things that you're looking for, the name of it. So when you search for your own, you're able to type in whatever it is that you're looking for. So for example, when I was looking for glass bottles for my potion, I typed in glass bottles. And then it gave me, of course, a wide search of glass bottles. But as I went throughout the internet, I was able to narrow down my search. What kind of glass bottle do you want? What color do you want? What ounce do you want? Like, so stuff like that, you really just have to start with a wide search and then narrow it down. And that's where the time consuming part comes in, because you never really know exactly what you're looking for. And then if you don't want to order too much of it, you order a sample and then you try it out. You see, how it works for you, and then you order it in bulk. Now, the toughest part about that is you spend money and you never really know if you're going to use what you get the sample of. But as long as you get that sample, you know if it works and if it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never really a loss. You're always gaining something. And that was probably the most comforting part for me, just knowing that I'm invested in myself. And then if you invest in yourself, you'll always get invested in.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to start. That was it. You just start. Type in whatever you're looking for, do the research, sit down, take the time through. You'll figure out specific names for things, and then you'll be able to go from there.
I definitely, something that you said that really stood out to me is every Friday I do reflections. And
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about how it's, you have to take time to figure out what works for you,
Yeah.
right? What represents you. And I think that a lot of times, sometimes people, they're trying to copy or emulate things that other people are doing,
Yeah.
and we definitely should learn from them. We definitely should pull, of those resources. But I think it's super important to be self-aware, to figure out, well, how do I fit into this space? Like, what do I bring?
Right.
And I
Right.
love that about what problem am I solving? What am I doing? And then work like backwards.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. It's been a great conversation, Glenne. I'm so excited for you and for what is to come. Um, and I thank you. I thank you for being on and sharing your story.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for being on. And I try to always end every podcast with the saying, when passion meets purpose, great things happen. And I think that that's so true. When you begin to find things that is fulfilling to you and sparks a level of joy in your life, it'll find purpose. It'll find purpose. And so thank you again. Thank you again.
Yes, yes. Thank you for having me.